everybody. Welcome back to another edition of the 10-7 MMA. I'm your boy DS, and I'm here with my guy Dino Bam Bam as per usual. But today, we've got a very special episode and edition of the 10-7 MMA because we've got our boy Harry from Pro Schmo Bets. Him and his team have been working on something big for the last 3 years, and I won't do it justice, so I want to let him kind of tell you guys about it before we dive into the betting side of UFC 314. Harry, what's up, brother? How are you, man?
What's up, Dino and Dino? How you doing, man?
Good, brother. How are you?
All right, sweet, brother. Can't wait, man. UFC 314.
It's a
Yes,
big
sir.
card, man. I'm a diehard Volk fan. I don't know if you know that, but I'm excited. I'm nervous.
I can tell. I can tell from all the stories on Instagram, brother.
There we go. There we go. But what's up, Harry? So me and you linked up, man. After I want to say it was like the John Jones card, right before the John Jones card, I put out a video. You reached out, you commented, and then we've kind of been following each other on all platforms since then. And what I like about what you do, what you're about to tell us, man, like you dive into this from an analytical betting standpoint, but not only that, you have like these insights on how gambling works and how the casinos work and how they make money. So I'm not doing it justice. Let us know.
Oh, your man, very, very, profoundly, brother. I mean, we're always doing our best to get qualitative and quantitative approachings to fight lines and fight cards, fight night pay-per-views. And for 3 years now, just trying to bring it together to make sure the little guy gets some of that, right? Usually you could bring in $1,000, $5,000 and hit a straight bet. Verna Jandiroba, for instance, what a lock, right? Minus 150, and you can cash, right? So, for those that have money, they can eat well. But what about the little guy, the $20 better, the $100 better, $50 better, and their parlays, right? It always goes to shit. This is how the casinos make money. They make it in the billions a year. And, what we've done is we culminated all that data. We're entering our third year now, and we're doing our best to come up with an outlier strategy so that they can cash more often. Over-unders, now we have the spread and the money line. So what we do is we want to make sure we can cash using better variance. And that's it, man. That's all she wrote. ProSchmoBets.com.
There we go. Last week, I know you gave out on Instagram the what was the main event? Josh Emmett plus 5.5, and that smacked. I definitely tailed that. It's a good bet. It's a good bet, brother. A lot of people don't even know that exists.
When it was Super Bowl time, I saw all your posts about the Eagles and all that, and I definitely made some money because of that as well. So thank you for that.
There we go. I'm gonna try to. There we go. All right. So hey, we're on the 3 screen. Real quick, DS. Before we get into it, I got this at the bottom, guys. Subscribe to Harry at Pro Schmo Bets on YouTube. Okay, go check him out. He's got a channel. He's always dropping a ton of content. And then Harry, what's your Instagram? I thought I put. I got it. It's right here. Follow us and Harry on Instagram. We're the 10-7 MMA, pictures with us and fighters. Harry's always posting stuff on there, dropping some free knowledge, guys. Free ball. That's what they call it.
Yes, sir. And just overall a good dude. So
there we go. You from New York?
Yeah, New York, brother. New York.
Accent, man. We figured.
All right. Well, we'll get to all the small talk in a second here, fellas. Obviously, we're here to break down UFC 314, Volkanovski versus Diego Lopes in the main event. But we've got 12 other fights on the card as well. So just so you guys know briefly, for anybody that's watching this, the way that we're going to go through this, we'll start at the bottom of the card. We'll work our way up to the main event. And we'll just kind of give you our thoughts purely from a betting perspective on what our thoughts are on each fight. Are we going to be placing any bets? Is there any value that you can see? And just happy to have Harry here with us to do it. So since you are here with us today, Harry, why don't you go ahead and take this first fight? You're our honorary guest. The first fight, of course, is Nora Cornell. She is taking on Haley Cowan. What are your thoughts?
Man, when I first saw this open up, the public was on it. Typology, social media, articles written all on Nora Cornell. She's crossing 5 time zones for this fight. She's this exciting French Thai boxer. And I had to pause for a second, watch tape, see what the skill sets are like. And she does good work against the octagon. That's her clinch game. She's got the kickboxing down. And then you have Haley Cowan. And I'm wondering, what is it that people see that they don't like? Because they both suffer in cardio through the rounds. And if anything, Cohen should have an edge in this particular fight. at plus money with an edge because she can wrestle, she can grapple, brother. That woman has takedowns for days, and she's an oversized bantamweight. That woman fought at featherweight. She's got a huge body, great dexterity. She's a gymnast. And I wondered. And so I came across news articles about her husband. He's behind sexual assault allegations from a 13-year-old at the gym. Yeah, big deal. So I think that's what the public is thinking, that the UFC wants to cut her. I would take the plus 3.5 here. As you heard me say, man, Cohen is credentialed. The cardio is there. She had 3 weight cuts between cancellations that led to faulty cardio in her last fight. So that's my opinion on that.
So just to be clear, you're saying Haley Collin plus 3.5 at minus 150. That's what I'm seeing it on the DraftKings.
That has to be the play, man. That has to be the play.
All right. DS, what do you got?
Look, man, if you saw our breakdown video, you know that I like Nora Cronola in this fight. Haley Collin coming off a 2-year layoff. And quite frankly, yes, she does have the better wrestling, no question. I mean, I think that much is very clear for sure. I agree. I just don't know if it's really that good. I like her size. Like you said, Harry, both of them kind of lacking in cardio, but I trust Nora Cornell's aggression in this one. And the fact that, Haley Collins coming off a 2-year layoff, but she's not somebody who, to me, really passed the eye test, even on the Contender Series. I didn't really think like she deserved the contract personally. So, honestly, I kind of like the money line on this. Look, I don't usually bet women's MMA fights, right? And we know that there's a lot of inherent risk within that. But I think the odds are not bad. I think that the odds could have been a little bit worse here. If we saw, something with a 2 in front even, I would probably stay away. I like the over for sure. I don't see a finish in this fight. Haley Collins tough, and she's got the size. But I think I do like the money line on Nora here if I'm going to be betting anything.
All right. And I don't hate both of those. I mean, I get where you're both coming from. I'll tell you guys this. As far as Haley Collins, she's definitely the more athletic girl in this fight. She's really green, though, man. That's what kind of worries me about her. And just side tangent here, DS kind of mentioned it, Harry. There's this preconceived notion that goes around, you don't bet women's MMA. You especially don't bet low-level women's MMA, right? Like early prelim women's MMA. And another thing that I've noticed, and you tell me if this is something that you've seen, first fights of the night, especially on these big pay-per-views, tend to go to some weird-ass decisions. You get some weird judging. So personally, I'm not going to be a coward throughout this card. I'm a little bit of a sports bettor myself, but I'm just going to steer clear of this whole damn thing. I'm not touching this fight with any sort of money.
Fair. No official bet. I understand it. All right. Are we good to move on to the next one, boys?
Let's get it.
Cool. Next fight on the card is Tresean Gore. And he is a plus. Are those odds recent? Yeah, right?
Those are yesterday's odds. I haven't updated them, but they're the same.
Yeah, I'm still seeing plus 300. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Plus 300 for Tresean Gore. He's taking on Marco Tulio. Marco Tulio of Norma Dumont fame, by the way.
Right. Good for him, by the way. I'll take this one first. I know I just mentioned I'm not going to be a coward and all that. Harry, I apologize. I know this is the first time we're doing this. I got to be a coward. I got a personal relationship with Tresean Gore. That's a good friend of mine. We text, we talk all the time. I can't bet against them. So if I'm going to sprinkle, I'm sprinkling on my boy by knockout. Again, that's purely biased. Don't chase my friendships with your money.
I like how you said that. I think you should go to Harry first. That's only respectful.
Hey, Tresean Gore's got the brown belt. What does Marco Tulio got? Heavy hands, mixed kicks. Listen, I got it. Tresean Gore's volume, God, it's developing. He'll polish that game. But Marco Tulio's strike sequence, shot selection is incredibly predictable, and his shots are latent. The volume, although it's there, it's latent. It's delayed. That shot, you can see it from a mile away. I like Tresean Gore here. I hope he gets another submission or knockout so your ticket cashes.
There we go. Okay. Tresean Gore by finish. It's worth a sprinkle, DS.
Hey, it's for sure worth a sprinkle. The odds are kind of crazy at plus 300, honestly. And I don't have the knockout prop in front of me, but I'm sure that's really good odds on that. I actually like what you said about submission. I think for me, man, I'm going to be a coward here, as Dino said. No official bet on this one. I like Tresean Gore. Marco Tulio Silva, he's got some good power too, man. Tresean Gore has had only 7 professional MMA fights. Look, there or 6, I want to say. This is his 7th. Look, you get a lot better if you're doing something. If you're that early in the stages of doing something, and he's training consistently, and he's still fairly young, right? So we could see big steps forward for Tresean Gore. I think I just need to see it first. So no official bet for me on this one.
I'll tell you this: Tresean Gore by knockout. You asked, it's plus 1,000. So
Damn.
we're turning up if that hits.
Damn.
That's the Lambo play.
I like how Harry comes in here level-minded, breaking shit down, and you're like, "Fuck it, bro." Plus one.
Hey, I'm not the pro guy, right? I'm not pro schmo. Dude, my DraftKings is negative right now. I get big hits, then I start blowing it on baseball and shit. I don't know what I'm doing. That's why we got Harry here.
Literally, I was gonna say, thank God he's here to keep us in line. All right, let's move on to the next fight, which is Sumudaerji. He is taking on Mitch Raposo. He is a sizable favorite at minus 180. I guess I'll take this one first, man. Look, I like the distance here. If I'm going to be betting anything here, I like the distance. Right now, I'm looking at over 2.5 minus, or I'm sorry, take the over. It's over 2.5 minus 180. I think there's some value here. I think this is pretty much guaranteed to go. Maybe not guaranteed. There's a chance that Sumudaerji gets the knockout. If anybody gets the finish, that's the way I see it going. But then again, if you think about it, Mitch Raposo, if he was any better of a submission artist, if he had shown me anything more in the ability to finish fights on the ground by submission, I think that would be the clear-cut way to bet this fight. But I think his wrestling is good. I just don't trust the jiu-jitsu necessarily of Mitch Raposo. Plus, he's quite undersized. I like the over 2.5 at minus 180 in this one. That'll be my official bet on here. Everything else, just I don't know. I could see it going too many ways, so I'm gonna stick with that.
Harry.
Hey, it's that distance gap, right? So Sumudaerji, man, that's what he's crafty for. And you know, he employs those long traditional kicks. And when you think about it, Mitch Raposo, when he fought Andre Lima, was having a difficult time with as a already undersized flyweight, for one, already with great offensive wrestling, which made the decision controversial between him and Andre Lima. He's afraid to close any distance with his striking, and he's with the New England cartel. So that's not a good look, brother. You know you're UFC elite level. This is the highest echelon in MMA. You need confidence in that octagon to win. You got someone who's going to be stabbing, brother, that lead sidekick. What's he going to do? Sumudaerji is as tall as the trees.
Yep. So if just so I'm not mistaken, basically what you're getting at is you don't think that Mitch Raposo has the striking acumen to be able to get in on Sumudaerji. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Yep.
So any picks on this one? Any bets on this fight?
Sumudaerji on the money line, baby. That's all you can do here.
Yeah, and I'm with you, man. And I'll let you know, a lot of people, we talked about this on our breakdown, Harry. A lot of people are picking Mitch Raposo as an underdog. It's like their underdog of the week, and I see that everywhere. I don't see it, man. I think Sumudaerji's way too big for him. You're talking about a guy that's really big for the division versus a guy that doesn't belong in the division, right? Like the UFC needs, straw weight essentially to put this guy in. So I think the size is just going to be too much. And people are talking about size in the main event with Volk and Lopes. They're talking about it with Pitbull and Yair. I think if size is going to be an issue anywhere on this card, this is probably the fight. So I like Sumudaerji money line as well. I think it's a pretty safe bet.
Yeah, I just want to say I shouldn't think like this, but I kind of thought that was a given based on my breakdown during our full fight breakdown. I absolutely think Sumudaerji is going to win this fight. Yeah, and I like the bet. So I just needed to say that.
Right.
All right, let's move on. Next fight, we've got SD Dumas. He is taking on Mikhail Oleksiejczuk. Harry, back to you, brother. What do you think? What do you think from a betting perspective about this fight?
Oh man, you know you got a brawler here. You know who can wrestle this guy Dumas, and fighting with Oleg now, who is, I think he tore a tendon when Holland subbed him with that armbar, and then went on to fight. Who did he go on to fight just recently? This guy Oleg.
Sharpest.
There you go, man. So although he's a good southpaw striker, fast hands, works the body, what's it gonna come down to as far as the work on the mat there? it has to be Cedric Dumas on the money line, man. Has to be.
All right. Hey, look, Harry, I'm going to have to disagree with you, man, heavily on this one, to be honest. SD Dumas is a guy that I've been watching for a long time, man. I've been watching him on the regional scene. He fought on George Masvidal's league, and I was like, hey, this guy looks interesting. He is very, very raw, right? He's not refined. He got to the UFC based on a couple of things, man. You mentioned that wrestling, and there are times where that wrestling looks really good, but it's just not refined wrestling. It seems to be due to pure athleticism. It seems to be due to power and explosiveness. And I think, honestly, he got to the UFC after a couple highlight finishes on a big league with George Masvidal because of his look. I mean, I'm not saying SD Dumas isn't UFC level. I just think he's low UFC level. And I think the world of Mikhail Oleksiejczyk's striking. So if SD Dumas is going to win this fight, you're 100% right. It's going to be due to the wrestling. And that is a flaw in Mikhail Oleksiejczyk's game. I just think Mikhail Oleksiejczyk is so much better than he has shown, and I think he deserves more respect from the public. I'm going Mikhail Oleksiejczyk money line, and I like minus 192. I feel like Vegas is backing me on that.
Yeah, and I see where you're coming from. It's because any opponent that bullies Cedric Dumas, whether it's on against the cage, whether it's in the pocket or on the mat, he does break in there. He does. So I'll give you that. You're right. And that's probably what you saw, especially with how relentless Oleg is. I just don't like him being injured, man. I don't know if you noticed, but with, Estela Nunes having had that arm fractured, then you have Vanessa Demopoulos with the tendon repair. You have old girl Belbita, who got subbed by Molly McCann. Everybody injured, even on the previous card. I mean, we're like 9-0 for the year already with people coming back. So that's probably the angle I had. But hey, if the guy's ready to, brawl, it's sprawl and brawl. It's game over for Dumas. I get it. He breaks in there. We'll see. We'll see what the confidence level's like between them both.
And I'll tell you, brother, that stat dropping at 9-0, that's why you're here. But going back to the breaking thing, right? Going back to Cedric Dumas breaking. That's what DS was saying in our in our video that we dropped last night. But I'm with you, man. That's an interesting stat. DS?
Yeah, you guys pretty much covered it, man. I think for me, the biggest thing is like Oleksiejczyk has such a glaring weakness in the wrestling, right? Like he is just so bad at it and has shown no signs of improving it, right? And I didn't even think about the injury. So thank you for mentioning that, Harry. That's another big factor too. SD Dumas is like such an inconsistent fighter as well, right? And the biggest thing is the mental side of things for me, right? He doesn't like to get hit. When he does get hit, he kind of starts to fall back and kind of loses that confidence and I think he'll probably be able to get Oleksiejczyk down at some point. There's too many variables in this one, so I picked Oleksiejczyk to win the fight on officially, but I don't think I'm making an official bet on this one.
So that brings up an interesting question, and I'm glad we got Harry from Pro Schmo Bets. Like and subscribe and do all that. I'm glad we got you here. Harry, what are your thoughts on fights like this, right, where it's like, you may not be 100% confident in what you're thinking or what the tape is showing you. Maybe you got two fighters that are inconsistent. I know a lot of people, like let's say at this point you're down, man. You've lost 2 bets in a row. What do you feel about chasing, and what do you feel about having a bet on fights?
If you're going to chase, you cannot chase it because the next guy's a favorite or the underdog just cashed, because then you're going to have 2 back-to-back dogs, man, right? So the best thing to do in that case, and you're saying, man, I really want to slam, I really want to cash, I'm watching the fights. It's in front of me, the TV. All you got to do, brother, if you have that tendency, you shouldn't, but if you have that tendency, you gotta bet on a trend. You gotta bet on a trend. All these fighters, guys, all Marquez with Brundage, all these boys, man. If you notice, they're Feely and Mel Costa. These boys have a 4-year, 5-age differential, and they're at plus money. The younger guys. Can you believe that? And it does not matter if the public is betting heavy on them or not, because guess what? Mel Costa had all the cash against Feely. Cody Brundage had 80% of all the bets against Marquez. No, that did not matter. So you ride the trend. You find a trend on that fight card, maybe before it all starts, in case your shit goes bust. And I'm more reassured in that than just chasing odds, favorites, and underdogs by category because your shit just busted.
Yeah, I like that. Where do you get your metrics from? I know you got your own kind of programming software, but where are you seeing these trends?
Well, I get that put together. I got a team of like 8 people and shit. I got great friends like you guys, man. You're a good sharp, bro. Everybody on your team, and that's what I do. You just have to network, and you're never competing with each other, brother. These cappers are competing with each other. The public's competing with each other. We got one person we're competing with. That's the line and the guy who said it at the casino. You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
There
sir.
we go. Hey, I'm
That's why, brother. Whatever Dana White says, do the opposite. Believe the opposite. Man, it's written on his wall in the war room where he match makes. It says it. Art of War, Sun Tzu. Do the opposite of what you say.
I like that. Hey, Harry, if you're ever in Chicago, man, we're hitting the casino together, bro.
All right, brother. Same over here, brother. When you're in New York,
Let's go.
All right, let's move on, fellas. Next fight on the card, we've got Darren Elkins. He's 40 years old, of course, now, and he's a big underdog here, plus 270, taking on Julian Juicy J. Rosta. Dino, I think you should take this one first.
All right, I got to move me to this corner to put me on first. All right, man. Diaz, look, as a fan, I love this fight, right? I know for a fact, if there's anything that's certain about this fight, is that it's going to be fucking crazy. Darren Elkins always brings the fight. Julian Erosa, for what it's worth, is a very exciting fighter. He's dangerous. He's got finishing ability everywhere it goes. I mean, I don't love the money line odds here at minus 340 for Juicy J, especially. I wish it was a little smaller, is basically what I'm trying to say. Darren Elkins, it's hard to fade the guy because I like him, but I got to fade him. I can't pick Darren Elkins at 55 years old or whatever he is. I like Julian Erosa. I'm certain he gets this win. So I guess money line would be the pick here. I don't know if I'm comfortable parlaying it or anything like that, but I'm probably comfortable throwing it in a little 2-3 leg parlay.
Yeah, look, man, if you want me to go next, I'm happy to do it. Darren Elkins is insane, and I think if there's one thing, if you could bet on one thing, and if you could bet for this to just be absolutely fucking insane and put your money on that, that's where you should put your money on this fight. Look, I mean, I think Darren Elkins has a shot here. Would I have said that, a year ago? Probably not. I told you, Dino, I thought he was going to retire like 4 or 5 years ago. So I'm undecided if it's an official bet, okay? But I do like the over 2.5 here. Darren Elkins is just so goddamn tough to finish. And even when you think you've got him, he somehow figures a way out. I don't think he's going to get caught by like an arm bar. I don't think he's going to get caught by something super simple. And the guy just never quits. So Julian Erosa, kind of up and down at times too. He's got some power. We've seen him get some nice finishes too. We've seen him beat, quite a handful of times too. So I think for me, if I'm betting anything here, it's the over 2.5 at minus 120. I think there's value there.
Wow. Hey, yo, I over 2.5 minus 120. That's an interesting line there, man. Yeah. See, and man, you might be onto something. Listen, when he fought TJ Brown, this guy, Darren Elkins, I sent TJ Brown a DM and he responded back, told me to go fuck myself. It was pretty much Darren Elkins on a wheelchair. I think 5 months prior to, or 6 months prior to his fight with TJ Brown, he had tore his meniscus. And I told TJ Brown, brother, you couldn't get this old man out of there. He fights this guy, Daniel Pinetto, does incredible, this guy, Darren Elkins. Could he be the parlay buster of this card? God damn. I don't know. I hope not, because I like Julian Erosa, man, to strike this boy. He went 5-0 before he started pursuing MMA. He was doing amateur boxing. Julia Erosa put out Chris Rodriguez, right? And, but over 2.5 for what it's worth, man. Darren Elkins is in the best shape of his life, brother. All the podcast interviews, all the data on Google, all these search, keyword search engines, all these hits, everything is positive about him. All his Instagram posts. Yeah, I don't think this man wants to retire one bit, man. I think this guy's going to give it everything. That's a line I might actually cash myself, brother. Over 2.5 minus 120.
I'm honored.
There we go. All right.
I got a quick question for you, Harry. This is just kind of more of a general question for you, right? So something that I never bet on UFC fights are the point spreads. Do you ever bet the point spreads? And do you have any thoughts on that?
I do. You have to be careful. everybody, they're set up to trap you. Okay. They are, particularly when they were phasing out the gloves. You know, they did a very good job making the lines much wider, much shorter between those two events. You have to be careful. You know, one of the judges gave a 30-27 to Josh Emmett.
Yep.
You know why? Because his spread was at 5.5 plus 5.5, right? So he, you know, thank God it wasn't, you know, anything less, 30-26 or some crazy shit like that. Right? Right? That what was the scorecard? God damn.
Now, it was
One
last week you're
point.
talking about, right?
1 point, yes. 1 or 2 points in that differential, and that would have went bust. And a lot of these judges do that, brother. They're giving you unanimous decisions. Like you can't even believe what's going on. And then your spread goes bust. Right. So it's not even the fight that they're robbing. It's also how they score the fight so that you know you can't cash a spread like that because they're getting hit hard. You got to know which ones you can do, you know, and usually the ones that are very high profile, right? The ones that draw so much attention are the ones you should smack, right? Mel Costa versus Christian Rodriguez, Josh Emmett versus Lerone Murphy, right? So, you know, wherever most of the eyes are, that's where you should do it. Cause you know, they're not rug pulling right underneath, you know, that it's too blatant.
Yep.
Yeah.
So it's inherently more risky, right? Because you're adding in a level of subjectivity, right? Like you have essentially the judges, and how many times are you pissed off at the judges? And how many times is Dino texting me after a fight like, "What a fucking robbery! What was that?" Right? I mean, so
Yep.
I think that's why I've avoided it, and I'm glad you said that as well. I was just
But
curious.
keep it in mind, though. Start writing it down. If you thought you would, you know, slam a line like that, write it down and see what sort of data you draw from that, you know, like I have. So I'm not chasing it on the early prelims or the prelims unless it's high profile. All eyes on it on a particular card, like it was for C-Rod for UFC Mexico against Mezekiel Costa. You see what I'm saying?
Yep.
Things of that nature, right? Or
Yep.
this one, Josh Emmett and Lerone Murphy, where Emmett is getting all those marketing dollars, all that TV time, ad revenue time. That's crazy, you know, making you believe that he's going to get that, you know, one hitter quitter. And look,
Yeah.
Yep. I'm with you.
I mean, look, if we're talking market manipulation, right? There's a lot happening in the world, and what happened yesterday with the fucking tweet that was sent out. Not to get political, I'm not going one way or another, right? I'm just saying somebody tweeted that the tariffs were lifted. The insiders didn't get their bets in yet, right? So they're like, no. And then once they all got their bets in, it was like, okay, yeah, actually, yeah, the tariffs are lifted. So interesting. If it's happening in the real world, if they're fucking playing with our governments, you think they're not playing with your money, you know, in the UFC, right? So just something to think about. Not poo-pooing the whole operation. Obviously, there's a whole reason we're doing this, but I think it just needs to be said.
Big facts. That's big fucking facts.
All
Martha
right.
Stewart.
Sorry, I
that
went off
bitch.
kind of on a tangent there. I just wanted Harry's opinion on that.
Hey, man, I really want to add to that, man. Martha Stewart, that bitch is crazy.
What did she do?
No, she's crazy, brother. You need to read more biographies on that bitch, and then read the autobiography. That bitch.
Oh, my sister was telling me that. Okay, yeah. I'll look into Martha Stewart. I'll make a note.
Shout out Martha Stewart.
And we'll break her down next episode. All right, let's move on. Next fight on the card, we've got Jim fucking Miller. He is taking on Chase Cooper. Somebody else, please take it away because these odds are fucking crazy. Minus 850 for Chase Cooper. The absolute disrespect to Jim Miller. Look, man, I picked Chase Hooper to win, right? But come on.
Harry, I gotta ask, man. So yesterday, I don't know if you saw the video we dropped, our full card breakdown, but essentially we both went Chase Hooper, right? That's the right pick. It's the right guy. He's whatever amount of years younger than he is, and he's developing the striking and all that stuff. But what do you do when you see a line like this? Is this an auto just fucking reject and let's move on, or what's the deal with something like this? A crazy wide line.
Man, you don't want to fall for that Grant Dawson shit, right? And Bobby Green. The problem is here, you know, this boy Chase Hooper, man, his striking has polished up so well, man. You can see he's hitting learning curves with it. Shot selection is doing well. He's but he's still dominant in the grappling. I just think he's chaining it together now. The problem is Jim Miller has looked very good on the feet. And I think Chase is going to do everything to scramble this guy on the ground and submit him. I don't think he wants to strike because of how he exchanges in the pocket. This guy Miller's that guy like Bryce, brother. These corn-fed guys, bro. They just don't fear anything. You'll see tomorrow when Bryce faces Gene Silva, man. He's probably getting knocked out, but if Gene misses, he's getting clipped. And if wow, man, Gene is his dexterity is so terrible too, man. That guy's not like Joe Anderson Brito. I'm telling you right now. Gene Silva is powerful, but yeah, man. These guys are from the farms, dog. These guys are something else, man.
Hey, I'll just throw this in there, man. I already kind of gave my opinion. Chase Hooper, we met him out in Vegas. Cool dude. We met his wife. For what it's worth, Harry, he's a new dad now. He just had a baby, so he's got some of that dad strength. Dude is fucking 25 years old, and he's been in the UFC kicking ass for years now. His first fight against one of the Tamer brothers. Actually, if you're a fan of our channel, you guys know this, but my cousin is the godfather of their children, so I got a relationship with those guys. And when I met Chase Hooper, I was like, hey, man, you beat my cousin's best friend's ass. And he's like, I'm sorry. Don't be sorry. You did your job, and the kid's a fucking beast. And since he's been training with Wonder Boy, the striking's looking better. Here's what's throwing me off when I'm looking at some of these odds, right? Chase Hooper's now a minus 900, so it's spreading. But what I'm seeing is the under is at plus money. Under 1.5 at plus money is weird to me, because if the guy is such a big favorite and he's such a submission threat and, he's developing the striking, I just wonder why that's the case, that the under 1.5 would be plus money. I know Jim Miller's tough, but when it comes with age, man, that shit goes quickly. So, DS, you got anything to throw onto this fight?
No, man. I mean, if I was gonna bet anything, I would maybe, this is not an official bet, I would consider the over 1.5 at minus 160, but I don't love those odds minus 160, honestly. So I think there's a possibility Jim Miller knocks Chase Hooper out in the first round. I think there's a possibility that Chase Hooper lands some big shots on Jim and gets him down. And I think of the jiu-jitsu, skill for skill, I think they're close, right? I just think that when it comes to pace, Chase Hooper is going to have a big advantage there. It's just too risky for me. The odds are too crazy. I'm not betting this one.
I like it.
All right, let's move on. Next fight, we've got our second women's fight of the night. It's Yan Xiaonan. She's taking on Verna Janjanova, your girl, Dino Bam Bam.
Big time.
How do you see this fight going from a betting perspective?
All right, from a betting perspective, I see it the same exact fucking way. I see it in the breakdown. Verna Janjanova she's the lock, man. She's the lock of this card. We talked with Harry a couple minutes before we got on here. Guys, we're free balling this. We're just fucking doing this on the roll here. Verna Janjanova's winning this fight. She's next for the strap. She may or may not beat Wei Li. I'm not decided yet, but Verna Janjanova, I've been, praising her for a long time now. She's been the dark horse of the division. She is the Marab of this division. Verna Janjanova's coming for that strap.
Dino, the only reason she was getting touched up in the first place, it's because she was overcommitting those punches on Marina Rodriguez.
Big facts.
That's it. Other than that, game over, baby. It's over.
Verna money line, baby. DS, what do you got?
Verna money line. Yeah, this is some of the freest cheese you're gonna find in the UFC, I think. My only thought is how is it gonna happen? I could see her kind of just laying on Yan Xiaonan and beating up on her on the ground. Obviously, that's where she has the weakness anyways. And the striking, Jan's better, but I think Verna is, I just want to briefly mention this. I mentioned on the breakdown, she's one of the rare jiu-jitsu artists, one of the rare Brazilians who has the capability to get the fight to the ground with her judo, right? So she's a good wrestler, and she's got good jiu-jitsu. This is a lock. I'm going to take her by money line. I think don't get too cute with any, method or anything like that.
Yeah.
And she shoots from the outside. She rises, she rises, in sprawl to double underhooks and shit. Jan's opponents don't do that. Mackenzie does not do that. So she was getting exploited, especially when she has Uriah Faber and that wrestling camp at Team Alpha Male. So that's expected. But like you said, Jandiroba, different breed.
I mean, Yan Xiaonan struggled with Wei Li on the ground. She struggled with Carla Esparza on the ground. Verna is heavier than those ladies, in my opinion. When you're watching it, she looks heavier on top for what it's worth. So yeah, I love this. Verna Janjanova, she's getting a title shot at some point. I know the UFC probably doesn't want to push her because DS made the joke that she looks like Rob Schneider.
You didn't have to you didn't have to bring it up.
But, but she's not the best looking, and Dana likes that shit. But she's going to the belt, man. She's getting a title shot.
Feel like a dick now.
You should.
And I do. All right, let's move on. Next fight. Next fight on the card. We've got Dan 50K Ige. He is taking on Sean Tall Ass Boy Woodson. Very, very interesting fight when you look at them two next to each other. Harry, how do you think this fight's gonna go from a betting perspective?
Golden Glove champion, this guy, right? Sean Woodson.
Yep, I think at heavyweight.
A jiu-jitsu blue belt, though. But he's done well for himself in the UFC, man. He's built a system combining, long boxing, stand switches, and low calf kicks. So, that makes him a very difficult fighter to counter on. And it just doesn't make sense, that Dan Ige in the octagon with him. That's just my opinion.
So Woodson money line, you think there's value in that?
Yeah, and it's incredibly public. The public is due. The public is due. I think it's good. I think it's a good bet. Money line. Especially when the spread opens up for Dan Ige and people hammer it. I love Dan Ige, man. I just think that brother, he chose featherweight when he should have chosen bantamweight, man. I'm not surprised the Korean zombie worked him. Come on, brother. Come on, man.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, all great points. All great points. He's going to be giving up 7 inches in height, 7 inches in reach. Sean Woodson, very good boxer. Dan Ige, very good boxer. I guess maybe Dan Ige has the ground advantage. This fight's not getting to the ground. Even if Dan Ige wanted to get it to the ground, think about lifting something that's 7 inches taller than you and is fighting back, right? It's going to be very tough to do so. I kind of want to hit the over, but minus 315 on the over 2.5. I don't love the odds there. I really don't. I might do a degenerate sprinkle on Dan Ige. I'm not going to lie. I'm looking at plus 145 right now. I'm not saying to tail that by any means. I might just, do a little side thing on my own because I'm a degenerate. But no official bet for the sake of this video.
Yeah, official bet for me is Sean Woodson. I've been, again, a guy that I think me and you, at least DS, we haven't talked to Harry about this, but a guy that we were kind of late jumping on the train. You know what I mean? This guy has been rolling for a while now, a long streak of no losses. And that the Charles Jourdain fight, man, that right before that, when I was watching film for that fight, is when I realized that this guy's good. And yeah, he looks like a fucking idiot sometimes being so long and, his super long arms, and he throws weird shots every once in a while. But you guys mentioned it. He's a Golden Gloves boxer, man. So as awkward as he looks, I'm sure he's doing that for a reason, to give out certain looks.
He's been awkward his whole life, I'm sure. You know what I mean? Like, It's not like that's new to him. So
right. Super long bodied, super weird long body. It's not like fighting somebody that's X amount of inches taller than you, and that's, that's what you've been training. This guy's got a unique body, man. And super long arms or super long legs. Like, I don't know what the hell's going on. Sean Woodson's really good. I made money on him against Charles Jourdain. I think I'm going to make some money on him this time as well.
Respect.
Yeah.
Respect, brother. All right, let's move on. Next fight on the card, we have got Nikita Krylov making his long-awaited return. He's also been off for about 2 years at this point. Dino touched on yesterday. People thought he was like dead and died in the war for a while, and thankfully he didn't. He's back. He looks like he's in good shape. He's taking on my boy Dominic Reyes, who is a plus 145 underdog. Harry, what do you think about this fight? Are you making any bets on this one? Do you think there's any value? Tell me that Dominic Reyes is going to win this fight.
Oh, man, you know what? I think he's in the prime of his life, brother. He has to be in the prime of his life. I'd like to say good things about Nikita, but hey, that inactivity, he might pay the price now. I think for his last cancellation, the guy was on the beach, blatantly just taking photos with his wife on Instagram, and fight cancels. And that's the inactivity that follows. He was grappling with Roman Dolidze at the time, and Dolidze was serving him on a platter. You know what Dominic Reyes is like, brother. Classic southpaw, playing the rear hand and rear kick. And that's how I think this fight goes, man. I'd like to see Dominic get a finish, make a statement. I think it benefits the UFC as well right now in negotiations with John Jones to have Dominic Reyes win as well. There's something else, now that we're touching John Jones and why this is important. It's because when you're asking for 30 million, 50 million, you have to kind of drop someone's stock. That's what the UFC does. If you haven't noticed, right? That's why they're not afraid to have Rose get, a close decision loss to Aaron Blanchfield. Oh my God, you're incredible strawweight baby champion, right? So on and so forth, right? Where are the legacy fighters? Right? How many times did we think Adesanya would defeat Dricus du Plessis? Anybody, Sean Strickland, and look at what happens there. Can't even break a record. Kamaru Usman can't break a record, right? You're still leading with Anderson Silva, as a middleweight. Great. So, I think right now, the Dominic Reyes is man, has to be getting all this great attention behind the scenes that we don't know about for that reason, because it is very frustrating for John Jones to see that this guy is on a winning streak all of a sudden. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's giving it's almost like they're giving him. I know he's already been here, but it's like the Pereira push, right? Where it's like he came in, he has that history with Adesanya. Like, let's push Pereira as much as we can here. So it's kind of like that, right?
Yeah. Hey, listen, he feints, he fires straight down the middle. He likes to open, his opponent's guard. So could he finish here on the feet? Nikita has absorbed a lot of hits in his last, 2 outings. He was more susceptible to absorbing strikes. Add this inactivity, and what do we have, So anything. I mean, this guy's also, he outsizes Nikita Krylov, I'm pretty sure, by like half an inch or an inch. So even if he's trying to get like a leg lock on Reyes, this guy Nikita, he's just pulling away from that, moving laterally, coming back to the center of the octagon. That's how I see it, man. But I like it more from a negotiation standpoint. And we'll get back to it during this video. I'm going to bring something up again that's happening to John Jones, where a fighter's win is something that drops John Jones's stock from the UFC, and I'll follow up so I don't leave you guys in the limbo of that.
No problem. We'll come back to that. Any official bets on this one?
Dominic Reyes on the spread, baby. +3, +3.5. What is that? -150? Plus 100?
+3.5, -110.
Come on.
All right.
Yeah, look, I like Dominic Reyes outright on the money line. This will be probably my only official underdog bet. Nikita Krylov coming off a 2-year layoff. Dominic Reyes has good takedown defense. I think Krylov's best, for sure, his best method to win this is going to be to get it to the ground. I don't think it's going to be that easy. I believe in Dominic Reyes. I think that the resurgence is real, and I hope I'm right.
Yeah. Look, man, I picked Dominic Reyes as well. I just want to say this. As a fan of this sport, the last couple of years, right? Let's take these last, 2 years out of it. Before that, Nikita Krylov was a very active fighter. Dominic Reyes was, just getting into that losing streak that he went on. So maybe his stock hadn't dropped as much. And these are two of the best guys on the planet just a couple of years ago. And the strength of schedule that they both fought is unbelievable. I think it's going to be a fun fight. I think it's going to be a close fight. I am giving the edge to Dominic Reyes in this one. I wouldn't be surprised if Nikita Krylov, shows that he's better than him. But Dominic Reyes, 145, I'm slamming that. I like what Harry said as well. It helps in negotiations if the guy wins. So if this goes to a decision, why not give it to the bigger name, to the guy that's going to benefit your company, your organization, and all that kind of stuff. So Dom Reyes, I'll go money line. I like the +3.5 as well, but let's go Dom Reyes.
I love it. Let's hope it happens. All right, moving on. Next fight on the card, and things are getting real interesting real fast here. Next fight is, of course, Bryce Mitchell, and he is taking on Jean Silva of the Fighting Nerds. And look, both these guys have yapped enough. They open their mouths enough. We know who they are. We know what they're about. Harry, how do you see this one going? Are you making any bets on this one?
Man, this is tough. I think the UFC. You got Ari Emanuel He's the CEO chairman, I think, of Endeavor Group, or has now removed himself and taken on a role with TKO Group, right? So the UFC's public, man, and he's Jewish. Pretty much everyone, board of directors, they're all pretty much Jewish.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not surprised. They said, "Hey, Gene Silva, here you go." Ah, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
How is Bryce on the ground, brother? Dan Ige had top control, a credentialed grappler wrestler. Dan Ige had top control on Bryce, and Bryce found a way to not scrambled out of it, reverse the position and mount that guy. Bryce is a killer. Don't listen to the naysayers on what the grappling's like. Now he has size, and I love that for this guy. And Gene has short arms. He does not have the length that Emmett has. So I do buy him some time on the feet to survive, my friends. All right. Gene's gonna have to get smart and work the body all the way, but he ain't no Volkanovski, and I don't see the dexterity there. Does it go to a decision? Robbery? I believe it does. Gene Silva on the money line. That's my opinion.
God, that's damn. You straight pivoted on my ass on that one. You want me to go, Dino? All right, yeah. Look, I think John Silva's gonna win this fight. It's a true grappler versus striker matchup, right? And there's too many variables here, man. There's just too many variables. This is one where I'm gonna pour up my drink. I'm just gonna have a seat and I'm gonna enjoy the violence. I'm not making any official bets on this. It's just too risky. Bryce Mitchell says this guy's a fucking wyvern. Maybe he sees something that I don't see, and maybe this guy really is a wyvern or a demon of some sort. I don't know. So, look, weird things happen in the UFC. We saw Yuri talk about Poatan's like aura and his black magic and shit. I'm not messing with all that. I'm keeping my money in my pocket for this one.
All right. So now I'm gonna go a little bit based on what Harry said, a little bit based on what you said, and a lot of bit based on what the fuck I think. Okay, Bryce Mitchell is a significantly better grappler than Gene Silva. Bryce Mitchell is a top level grappler. When that guy gets on top of you, he is heavy as hell on top, and there's not many fucking people in this division that can get up from underneath Bryce Mitchell. Now I do worry that if this goes to a decision. Think if it goes to a decision, Gene Silva's winning this fight. They don't want Bryce Mitchell winning anything. However, I think Bryce Mitchell is going to take Gene Silva down quickly. He's going to take him down, hold him there, beat his ass to the point where if there is a decision, it's going to be hard to rob him. I think Thug Nasty dominates Gene Silva in this one. I know I sound fucking crazy, but Gene Silva is not Ilia Topuria. He does not have those skills to drop Bryce Mitchell and get on top of him. He is not Josh Emmett with the longer arms. Yes, he has nuclear power, but Gene Silva does this thing, DS, where he's always fucking high-fiving people and smiling and laughing with them.
He's taunting and shit in the cage, like
right. And he lulls them to sleep, and that's when he gets his knockouts. It's every goddamn time. Go watch the film. It's always a fun exchange, a smile, a high five. He throws something and fucks the dude up. Bryce Mitchell ain't gonna fucking smile with him.
No,
he's not gonna high five him. He's not doing any of that shit. Bryce Mitchell is coming out. He means business. I think he takes this boy down and beats the fuck out of him. So give me Bryce Mitchell. I don't know what the odds are on it, but I like fucking inside the distance decision, no action. Thug Nasty.
It's interesting to me that you said that if it goes to decision, you think John Silva. I think if we get to decision, it's almost guaranteed that Bryce Mitchell wins this fight. If we've gotten that far, if we're in the second round, if we're like in the end of the second round, I think Bryce Mitchell is already winning that fight. You get what I'm saying?
We saw Gene Silva get taken down by fighters that are nowhere near Bryce Mitchell's grappling level. Your boy, Charles Jourdain, DS, he was able to take him down multiple times. So if Bryce Mitchell takes you down, you're not getting up. You're just not getting up, simply. That's my thought. I'm sticking to it.
Respect.
Come on.
I like that decision, no action. That's good.
All right, let's move on, boys. It's the co-main event. We've gone a little long here, but hey, we're having a good time. We're giving some great information. Again, like and subscribe. Pro Schmo Bets. Harry is here with us today. Thanks again for being here, brother. Let's dive into the co-main. Oh, I'm sorry. I skipped the whole fight, didn't I? We have actually one more fight before we get there, which is Yair Rodriguez versus Patricio Pitbull, obviously making his UFC debut. Bellator legend. All the accolades that you could possibly have, has a win over Michael Chandler, who we will talk about next, where I got a little ahead of myself. Very curious to see what you have to say about this one, Harry.
Ah, man, this guy Yair Rodriguez, brother. Everybody loves this guy for his striking, but at that weight class, man, you need more than that. Arnold Allen, Yusuf Zalal, come on, brother. Even Barboza, at least he's got the nuclear kicks, you know. Hey, you know, Jose Aldo's got the fucking incredible takedown defense. And so when we talk about Yair's skill set and how the match plays out here, he does unleash a barrage of wildly unorthodox strikes, right? He angles his opponents, and you know he has proven to have improved his scrambles. So, and then you have Patricio Pitbull, who everybody said should, you know, lose to AJ McKee. And everyone was talking about AJ McKee signing to the UFC and facing Volk to prove who's the greatest featherweight of all time. And Pitbull beat him.
Yeah.
So how do I see this going? Pitbull by decision. Volk versus Pitbull after Volk loses the fight to Diego Lopes. I'm sorry, Dino. I'm sorry I had to say it.
Hey, you don't gotta apologize to me, man. We are really, really good friends with Pitbull's brother, Patricky Pitbull, who we actually FaceTimed last night before we did our episode. We had a call, you know, like a 15-minute conversation with him and Captain Eric. That's the plan, right? I mean, they've been pushing that. They have the whole public $1 million bet between Pitbull and Volk. I would love to see that come to fruition. We're going to be at that fight if it happens. So I'm with it. I believe in Pitbull, and this isn't really, you know, this isn't a biased thing. It may not be like the Trayshawn Gore pick a little earlier. I believe in this guy, man. He's been doing it for the better part of 15 years at this point, fighting title fight after title fight after title fight. Last time Bellator was in town here in Chicago, he was going for triple champ status. He was trying to be the first guy to ever win 3 titles, 3 different weight classes in a major promotion. He went down to 135. This is a guy that fought at 155. He's a pretty big dude. Yes, he's short, but he's stocky. Came up short ultimately in that one by decision. But I believe in Patricio Pitbull. I think he wins this fight. Everybody's been calling me crazy, but give me Pitbull, man. I think he wins a decision. He's always been the shorter guy. He's always been the shorter guy in every fight. He's never been tall. Yair is not something that he hasn't seen. Avoid the big ass knee, avoid that weird angle elbow, and I think he'll be all right.
Yeah, avoid that spinning back kick. That also kind of frightens me too, and also the very punishing. He's got some very punishing kicks, man. So the length, yes, and of course that's going to be a factor. I like Pitbull in this too, but man, Yair is my biggest question with Pitbull is the cardio, right? Because even in his last fight, we kind of saw him start to wean a little bit. He took 2 groin shots, which were potentially questionable, and he took a lot of time to rest in between. He really took the opportunity. That's smart fighting, right? But at the same time, what is that kind of telling me on the back end? So for me, no official bet on this one, man. But yeah, I think it's going to be a great fight. And I think if I'm going to be sprinkling anything, I might do a little degenerate sprinkle on Patricio.
Hey, to add to that, you know, to see if this helps you out somewhat. I think it's all just going to cancel out, brother, when it comes to that cardio picture, right? Between them both in that frame in the octagon, because it's time for Yair to move up. Brian Ortega's done it. Max Holloway's done it. Yair is overdue, brother.
Yeah,
And he's
been looking.
He's been looking fucking shredded. If you guys have been watching UFC Embedded, he looks in incredible shape. He's big as shit. You said it about himself on Embedded. He's like, I was looking in the mirror and I was like, God damn, that's me. So maybe it is in the back of his mind. It's time to go up to 145, and it may be a clearer path to the title up there, to be honest with you. Or I'm sorry, at 55. My apologies.
Yeah, a fucking doozy of a title fight, though. But
well, yeah.
All right, let's move on. Now it's time for the co-main event. Michael Chandler taking on Paddy Pimblett. See you at the top. Gallstuffs don't get knocked out, all that shit. Harry, are you placing any bets on this one? And if yes or no, why is that?
Brother, Dana White has helped that boy so much, dude. I don't know what, you know, since the moment he sees his eyes on him, watching him on the Bellator scene, he was so fixated on Chandler, bro. I don't know what it is. I wish I could have a conversation about it. Just like Colby Covington and fixing them into fights they could win. Brother, how do you get 14 fucking hammer fists? What were they? To the back of
the head. Yep.
Charles Oliveira's head. Not only that, but the fence grabbing, the glove pulling. My guy. Not only that, how do you miss? What was it? A right cross that I'm gonna put him out, or a overhand that almost put out Charles, and he was, brother, like a deer in front of headlights, brother.
Yeah.
Can't even make this up. You give Chandler something, it's over. Patty now is one of the largest lightweights who can cut the weight. He's gotten, and brother, this man was signed to the UFC because of that granite chin, bro. Stonehead, brother. He's a stonehead, and his striking footwork was choppy for a few years. I mean, they gave him Jordan Levitt, all right, but he's developed so well over time now. This is him, brother. This is him, like Islam Makhachev versus Bobby Green. Remember that when everyone was talking, they're giving him an easy matchup and he'll get the title fight next. And folks were saying, ain't no way he's beating Bobby Green.
Yeah.
All right. So it's Michael Chandler. Come on.
Look, I'm a huge Mike Chandler fan. I'm just gonna say this. I've always rooted for that guy from the Bellator days to the UFC days. I like Mike Chandler, man. He's exciting. Every time he's out there, he's exciting as shit. But one thing that I do notice is every fight that he's had in the UFC, you know how he's always bragging about, I have this many fights, this many bonuses, and fight of the year and knockout of the year. They put him in exciting matchups, right? But he's fought, who was it? It was Dan Hooker to start, Charles Oliveira, Justin Gaethje, Dustin Poirier, Oliveira again, Tony Ferguson. I was at that fight. That was absolutely brutal. But they put him in there with guys that they know are going to be entertaining, guys that are willing to push forward and meet Chandler in the middle and throw down with him. And all of them, except for Dan Hooker in that first fight, because he was just circling for about 2 minutes till he got clipped, they've all engaged Mike Chandler. And that's his world. He thrives in the chaos. He likes to be this happy-go-lucky and smart, philosophical guy on the mic. But in the cage, he's a psychopath. He's entertaining as hell. But Paddy Pimblett is not going to play that game with him. He's going to be smart. He's going to be strategic. He's got dollar signs and title shots in front of him. I think this is Paddy Pimblett by submission. I'm hoping to see Mike Chandler crack this kid's chin, put him out cold. I just don't see it happening, unfortunately.
So any official bets?
I'm not going to bet. I'm not betting against my boy, man. This is like at this point of the night, I'm already hammered. So, no point of losing money. I'm drunk. I'm upset. I just want to watch the fights.
Yeah, look, man, I'm going to probably do a degenerate sprinkle on Michael Chandler by KO. That's not my official bet pick. I am also, for the record, Dino, just so you know, I know I picked Chandler. I got a little excited last night. I'm switching my pick. I do think Paddy Pimlett's going to win this. And I just can't trust Michael Chandler with my money either. His only 2 wins in the UFC. And I know he's fought the best of the best, but it was a shell of Tony Ferguson. And then, of course, Dan Hooker. And like you said it perfectly. Dan Hooker is that guy who's going to come in and stand and bang. He's at perfect height for him to get a overhand landed on his chin, and that's exactly what happened. I don't think I'm going to make an official bet on this. If I was going to bet anything, I would bet Paddy Pimblett. Maybe it's worth sprinkling him by sub too. Paddy Pimblett by sub, by the way, is plus 215. Michael Chandler by KO is plus 250.
Real quick, let me ask you a question. What do you guys think about placing a bet like on something like that, right? If you get good odds on like Paddy by submission, do you ever tail that with something like Chandler by knockout, or is that counterintuitive?
I mean, yeah, you have betting strategies, right? You're middling, you're playing both sides. Really, I mean, on different books, you can do it so you don't get banned, make some money off of that.
Yeah.
I've seen it happen. But then you got to get into a whole rhythmic step with it. You understand what I'm saying? Develop a whole rationale to it.
Right.
But it's cool. If that's what you're doing, man, go.
No, I'm not doing it. I'm just saying, if you think about it, right, you get good odds by, like, if you think Paddy's going to win this fight and if he wins, it's going to be by, like, the great example is the next fight, which we're about to talk about. I'll just go ahead and press the thing here. But a lot of people are picking Diego Lopes, right? And if you're picking Diego Lopes, I assume you're saying by knockout. A lot of people are picking Volk, and if you're picking Volk, you're probably picking him by decision. So I don't know what the odds look like and if mathematically it makes sense, but if you sprinkle on Diego Lopes by knockout or Volkanovski by decision, those are two of the most likely outcomes. You know, you got to figure out a way to make some money on that. I don't know how it works. I'm not a gambling guy. I'm just saying.
And just when you do that, Diego Lopes is going to win by decision.
Right. Some stupid shit. Exactly.
Look, just real quick on this main event. I'm not betting this. Just straightforward. I think Volk's going to win. I could see it going too many ways, right? I could see Diego Lopes by submission. I could see Diego Lopes by decision. I don't really see it by knockout, but maybe Volk's, getting up there in age now, and his chin's been cracked already. So Diego Lopes has plenty of power, right? And we've seen Diego Lopes almost be finished, like against what's his name, his first UFC fight,
Movsar
versus Mostar, dude, and he still didn't give in at that point. So, and look at Volk versus Ortega, right? Like these are two guys who are gonna fight until they can't fight. So this to me is just too many variables, too many ways that this could go. And I don't want to add any more stress to watching an Alexander Volkanovski fight in 2025. So no bet for me.
Harry.
I think that Volk is one dimensional, man. He was a former rugby player. I don't know where you get your developmental talent from, if not for the sport of MMA. Diego Lopes, brother, he's been grappling, he's been rolling since he was I think a toddler, if I'm not mistaken, man. 4 years old, they put on the gi on that guy or some shit. It's crazy, man. I think that with that said, though, he does homework. Volk, very smart. He does dissect. He synthesizes, simulates the fights. His footwork's phenomenal. His sticky jab, he's in your face. He's always in front of you. Combinations, body shots. I mean, he's gonna do what he does. But I don't think that he does well with this generation, man, with the millennials. I think, he struggles with that a little bit. Those traps. I think that, this guy could feint to uppercut and potentially knock him out. And then Volk's going to say, I didn't see that coming. Like with Islam's high knee. Like, oh, I didn't see that coming. It's just like he hasn't seen shit. None of that shit happening. He didn't see Topuria. What was it? A 1, 2, 3, 4 combination before he put him out? A 1, 2, 3, 4 combination. And Topuria could have got knocked out. If Topuria was facing Diego Lopes, I'm not saying after he became champion, it's over, right? Statistically, when you attain a belt, you are now 60% more likely than 40% before the belt to win the fight. You understand what I'm saying? That's crazy.
Yeah.
So, but if he had fought Diego Lopes would have caught that, so because you saw that. I don't know if you remember that scene where Topuria missed the right hook and his whole body moved along with his arm. And I'm like, dog, I said, Volk, what are you doing staring at him? You could finish his ass right there. But again, brother, that's a Gen Xer, bro. It's the millennials game, brother. You got to pass the baton on, man. I think this is it.
God, I hate that, Harry. I hate that so much, man. Here's what I'm going to tell you. Look, I'm a diehard Alex Volkanovski fan. It is what it is. A couple things I see in Diego Lopes that I just don't buy. Technically on the feet, man, he's not very good technically, right? Yes, the guy's got crazy power. What I do love about him is he's always countering. Anything you throw at Diego Lopes will be countered, no matter what, no questions asked. The guy it's very difficult to see him take a step back in a fight. You fire a leg kick, he's throwing something back. You fire an overhand, he's throwing something back. It's always going to be thrown back, but what it is it's always the same combo, man. It's an overhand followed by a hook to the body, sometimes upstairs, and then once in a while he'll throw that third hook back at you. You mentioned it. Volkanovski does his homework, right? And that was never more apparent than in the first Islam Makhachev fight. He had studied that guy down to the final thing. He knew everything about Islam Makhachev, and it showed in that fight. The second time he got caught, Islam did a great job setting that kick up, going leg, going body, and then finally throwing it upstairs. And I think the world of Ilia Topuria. The guy is disgusting. Technically, he's really nasty. He's got explosive power. The thing with Volkanovski to me in this fight is if he just stays clear and doesn't get knocked out in those first 2 rounds, he wins it. Again, I know we're supposed to be talking about betting here. I'm not betting the fight. I can't do it. I just hope Alex Volkanovski wins this fight. But Harry, I know I saw your breakdown. I saw your video. I'm trying to get us all on the same screen here together. I saw your video. I saw your breakdown. I'm going to link it down below. You made some great points on why you think Diego Lopes is going to win this fight. And I get it, man. So it is what it is. I'm not betting with this one. Really quickly, though, before we sign off, I just want to say my favorite pick of this night is definitely the Verna Janjanova money line. And anything else stick out to you guys that you really like on this card? I know Harry, you said he liked that one as well.
Yeah, I'm telling you. Let's go. The biggest bet of the night for me.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree with that. Obviously, just to mix it up here, I'm gonna go with Sumaderji money line. I don't believe in Mitch Raposo whatsoever. At minus 175, I know I wish the odds were a little bit better, but don't we always? I just think that he's pretty much a lock to win this.
There we go. And Harry, you drop your picks on not every pick, but I know you drop your percentage plays on Instagram. So we're gonna plug you there. It's been running at the bottom of the screen for a while. There it is. Follow Harry at Pro Schmo Bets. He drops free knowledge on you guys. We've made some money just looking at this guy's Instagram story. If you can't press fucking follow for free money, what are you gonna do? If you can't do that, you're an asshole. DS, anything else?
No, thanks for joining us, Harry. This was fun. Hope to do it again sometime soon.
Let's get it, baby. Let's go.
All right, guys. That right there is DS. That right there is Harry from Pro Schmo Bets. Give him a follow. Show him some love. His YouTube and his Instagram will be linked down below. I'm Dino Bandman. This was D107 MMA. Thank you guys so much for watching. Peace.